iPhone 14 and this is the iPhone 14 Plus. And if you've been thinking about buying these phones, let me tell you that we've been testing them for a while and we have 5 points to tell you whether or not you should buy this phone. So let's quickly get into it. We'll start off with the first one, which is design. Now gone is the iPhone mini. Rest in peace. It's out of here, but it may still live on as a iPhone SE in the future. This time around, however, we have the same design in a larger format. So you have a 6.7-inch iPhone 14 Plus. Now, you still get the traditional iPhone 14, which is a 6.1-inch size. The design is eerily similar to the iPhone 13, so not a lot of changes there. Another aspect of the design in the new iPhone 14 and the 14 Plus is the fact that they are now more repairable and you can access the back panel quite easily. Earlier, you had to go through the front and remove the back panel like that, and that would cost a lot of money even to Apple, and they would charge you a lot of money, almost half the price of the actual iPhone. This time around, repairability is much better and just the glass panel comes off. So that is definitely a win for the iPhone 14 and a win for consumers as well. So if you're somebody who's prone to breaking the back of their phone quite easily, then that is definitely a point that you should consider. A big change is the camera on the back and the camera on the front. So if you like clicking a lot of pictures or selfies, you get now a main 12 megapixel camera, which is from the iPhone 13 Pro. So you get a larger pixel size on this, so better low light photography. And Apple has also put in something called Photonic Engine, which is better computational photography. And we took it out for a spin, and I can tell you that some of the computational photography that this does gives a massive uplift to photos that you click. You also have lots of video options now. So you have cinematic video as well as action shot, which allows you to stabilize video. And I'll tell you that we were really surprised with the results. And even though it doesn't look like it's stabilizing while you're capturing it, the end result is really nice. The front-facing camera also brings those improvements along with the new True Depth camera, which is again borrowed from the iPhone 13 Pro. So you get a lot of new camera features and capabilities, same as the iPhone 13 Pro, in the iPhone 14 and the 14 Plus. And if you're planning on buying any of these phones for photography or videography, the larger screen size is definitely where it's at. So if you're thinking of getting this for video, the iPhone 14 Plus will definitely be a better recommendation. Which brings us on to our third point, which is the chip on the inside. So both of these phones have the A15 Bionic chip with 5-core GPU, which is the same as the iPhone 13 Pro. So lots of things being borrowed from the iPhone 13 Pro. This chip was used to run the ProMotion display on the iPhone 13 Pro and also enable certain things like ProRes video, cinematic mode, all of those things that were restricted to the Pro phones. That same chip is available here. So thanks to that slightly powerful chip, Apple is able to bring cinematic video as well as action shot and the Photonic Engine to the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 14 Plus, which bring about a better overall experience. So definitely an upgrade from the iPhone 13 as far as performance is concerned, but a slight upgrade nonetheless. Which brings us on to our fourth point, which is the display. Now, Apple did not upgrade the displays to 120 Hz or even 90 Hz, which I think is a big bummer because the new chip can definitely support the higher refresh rates. We know for a fact because it was in the iPhone 13 Pro. So the displays are not high refresh rate displays, but they're still Super Retina XDR displays, and they do have impressive colors as well as brightness that peaks out at 1200 nits, which is pretty high even for industry standards. And this display, for anyone who's used the iPhone 13, will notice that even on the larger iPhone 14 Plus, looks absolutely phenomenal and gives you accurate colors and really good contrast. So unless you are really looking for that 120 Hz of refresh rate, and if you've used a phone with that kind of refresh rate, you will definitely feel the lack of smoothness. But if you're upgrading from a 13 or a 12 series phone, then this display will be no different to you. In fact, it'll be slightly better thanks to that larger size. Which brings us on to our fifth point, which is power management and battery life. So both the iPhone 14 and the 14 Plus have impressive battery life. The 14 Plus, thanks to its large size and the lack of a high refresh display, gives you the best battery life among the iPhone 14 series. So it's definitely a pick for somebody who wants the best battery on the newest iPhones. And the fact that you have a larger display also helps. You get a larger display and better battery life. Apple hasn't upgraded the battery charging capabilities, so the maximum these phones will do is 20 watts of charging, and that is a slight bit of a letdown. You still get your wireless charging, but even with the 20 watt charging, the iPhone 14 goes up to 50% in just 30 minutes of charging, and the iPhone 14 Plus goes to 50% in 35 minutes of charging, which is still a pretty impressive number. Now, those are the 5 main points. There are some additions that Apple has added, so let's think of this as a bonus point. Apple has added crash detection into their new iPhones, which is a safety feature. So that's something that you should definitely consider. Also, if you get a newer iPhone, you get an extra year of updates. So at least 5 years of software updates from Apple is usually guaranteed, so we should expect that with these phones. And Apple has also added SOS satellite connections, which looked impressive during the launch, but it's only going to be available later this year and only in the US as well as Canada. So we might see that in the future, but we don't know for sure right now. For now, the video upgrades, the overall performance upgrades, the new iOS 16, and the larger size on the iPhone 14 Plus are the only real reasons that I could recommend the new iPhone 14. If you enjoyed this video, smash a like, hit the subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.